I'm Viv Cole, Blended Learning Consultant. Over the last 5 years, I've been privileged enough to be one of the judges for the eLearning Awards. These days, it's hard to imagine a well-designed learning solution which isn't blended. I think learners have got the right to expect that performing from A to B involves more than a lump of e-learning or a training course. When you're designing a blend, there's lots of possible options. So are elements of the blend going to be face-to-face, e-learning, virtual classrooms, etc.? So when designing that, it's important to have some kind of process that you go through. And one of the best processes that you could go through is the More Than Blended Learning jukebox. There's lots of material on the More Than Blended Company website about that, so I won't go into much detail. But fundamentally, at the start of the process, we need to consider the nature of the learning itself, the learners, and then the logistics, kind of the constraints that you're working under. Having done that learning needs analysis, then we start thinking about the learner journey, so running through the phases of preparation, input, application, and follow-up. And then the interesting bit in terms of your creativity, what are the different methods that you're going to use to bring each of those stages to life? And then finally, looking at the media that support those methods most effectively. When I'm judging, one of the questions that I tend to ask is, of the options that you considered in your blend, what are the ones you discarded and why? So why is the blend you've come up with the best in the circumstances? When you've got a blend, it's quite easy for the different elements of the blend to feel like they've been created by different people and that they don't actually hang together consistently. So let's take an example. You've got preparation phase, say you've got some video. In the input phase, we've got a game. And then application phase, we've got some face-to-face workshops. It's important that there's a consistent look and feel that goes through that in terms of branding, in terms of tone of language. Consistent rather than exactly the same, but it needs to appear seamless to learners. So one great example from last year's awards was Transport for London, where they had a blend that involved role-play actors who were in a video, then cartoon versions of those actors who appeared in a game, and then those same actors appeared in face-to-face role-play workshops. So as a learner, the whole blend hung together beautifully. I think it's important to use whatever data that you have to help inform how the blend will work. I'll just give an example from my own experience where we were doing a blend for a global company that has got many household brands, and we were increasing their capability at digital marketing. So the blend itself, the learner journey, relatively straightforward. So the preparation phase involved some e-learning. The input phase, there was face-to-face workshops. These led into application and some troubleshooting, and follow-up included people getting write-ups with expert guidance and also some comments on their digital strategies. So surrounding that fairly simple learner journey, there were a few different things going on. First thing that we had, which really helped with the learner needs analysis, is before the learners experienced anything in the learner journey, their first step was to do a skills check, which assessed how good they were at different aspects of digital marketing, so search or social media. And the intention behind that skills check was that after the programme, we were also able to repeat that process and measure the difference in learners' capability and confidence at using digital marketing. The other data that we had going around was, in terms of the preparation, completion data. So which aspects of the e-learning had people completed or not? And from the face-to-face workshops, we had the usual formal feedback from questionnaires, but also the informal feedback, which ultimately culminated in us being able to give some really good reporting back to the stakeholders. So this data that we got from the preparation was useful in conjunction with briefings from stakeholders for ensuring that each face-to-face workshop in around 50 different markets was tailored exactly to the needs of that market, but maintained the core messages that Centre wanted to put out. So as you've got a blend that you're going through, be creative about the different data that's coming out and how you can use that to help your blend run more effectively.
I learned something.